This is it. The point where I got a choice I didn't like taking. Let's listen to it again.
Charles Ronson. I'm logging this 6 hours after final deployment of Gaia Prime. This morning, an access port seal malfunctioned. Gaia Prime's port seals were designed to close with a seam of less than 2 millimeters. But this one closed with a 10 millimeter gap. Enough for an energy signature to bleed through. Enough for the swarm to detect this facility. Enough for Gaia to be discovered and destroyed. Enough to end the future we worked so hard to make possible. Unless the hatch servos were manually re-engaged from the outside. I'm now switching to a recording of the event.
Well, I'm not going out there. Not what I signed up for.
Either we send someone out, or all of this was for nothing.
It should be Liz's decision.
So when is she going to get here?
She said 5 minutes. You don't think...
Oh no. Okay, everyone. I've repaired the seal. Gaia?
Seal closure at 1.4 millimeters. Confirmed.
Elizabeth, no. We'll find a way to bring you back in.
It's not gonna happen. The swarm's too close. Really. It's alright.
Here is story technical error number 1. How can she send in this holographic message if everything is designed so not a single digital message is supposed to reach the inside? This not being able to be scanned. This message is impossible.
It's complete. She'll take care of things from here on out. That's what she does.
Not like this. There's so much we...
Guys, you know me. I'm no good at endings. At letting things end, so, let's not.
So... happy trails, Liz. And, see you around.
Yeah. Take care of each other, all right?
Liz.
I'm okay with this. I want to go home. Goodbye.
That was the last transmission of Elizabeth Sobek. She gave everything for the hope of life on this planet. And we are all in her debt. You'd hate it, Liz, but I wrote you a eulogy. I had to try to express all your children. After all Apollo has taught them, they'll think they know everything. But they have to understand what you did for them. How you loved the whole world so much. With an intensity that was dazzling. Bruising. And in the end, it killed you. Or you died for it. Different perspectives. No one could keep up with you, live up to you. I don't know, maybe if I hadn't taken that postdoc in Joburg... I'm glad you shot down the Lightkeeper protocol in the end. I don't think I could have taken seeing another one of you. I mean... Elizabeth Sobek... There's only one. I miss you.
Look, Liz. You're a pretty stand-up gal. I'm sorry you died. If you had a home to go to, I hope you got there first. But this monument Ronson's made to you? Kinda creepy if you ask me. Rest in peace, Liz. God knows you earned it.
Hell, Liz. I know you're never gonna hear this. That's not the point. You, you got to play the savior and the martyr all at once this time. Great work.
So, the problem, as far as I remember it, that I had, is that this next dialogue with Silence will confront the two. Silence will make a commentary on how Elizabeth died, and I completely agreed with his standpoint that nothing offensive was said, and that Aloy will completely overreact with the intelligent choice, or the one with the different perspective. And then I remember that all of the three ways that were presented, I hated all of the descriptors. But I remember that in playthrough 2 and 3, when I went for the hardest and the hard playthrough, those were way more in character, so to speak, of that storyline. But that third one, let's see if it really was that thorn in the eye that it was back then. Or if I just didn't listen.
Aloy?
She's gone. Really gone.
You knew she couldn't have survived, Aloy. And her achievements were beyond exceptional.
The reason why this is absolutely on point and nothing else would come out of Silent's mouth is because we have now reached the 4th time where he had confronted her that she was not a natural upbringing. And now we had 2 or 3. Like the first time he questioned how she could have been birthed from a mountain. That he had a mother and a father, but she couldn't have. Then, when we learned about the reproduction protocol, how humanity would return to the surface, that everyone was basically born of an unnatural way, or generation 1 was born in an unnatural way, but then normally reproduced, and then Aloy got confronted that she that we still needed the to know the purpose for her. Why was she suddenly brought up when she wasn't planned? Then in the facility of itself, we learned that she was an emergency protocol, and we found out about her purpose. Now let's I'm gonna give myself a little bit of more leeway, since right now there's only like an hour between the last event where we saw the video of Gaia explaining what her purpose was to this, so it makes a bit more sense that Aloy is more shaken. Last time I was here, I did a bunch of side quests before going here, because, I wasn't as focused as to completing the story, and allowed myself to be way more sidetracked. So maybe that didn't let me see the possible shaken foundation that I can have here.
While her people bickered, she was the one who took responsibility. The only one who could.
She was better than them.
That's not what I said.
Everything we know about Elizabeth is that she was an incredibly talented individual. Someone who would never agree to having made a mistake if he can weasel himself out of the situation with money or power. Was even brought down low and surrendered to her his entire operation when he was when he had no other option. He apologized and followed suit. I'm talking about Pharaoh.
Was. You shouldn't be afraid to admit it.
And now we have the options. You could see that stop acting like a machine might be the best one here, because silence is way too monotone in presenting this. And even so, I just talked about how now the time frame between All Mother's Mountain and this is now way shorter, so it makes way more sense for Aloy to be shaken, or stronger shaken. But then on the other hand, this isn't the first time we have talked about this. We already had a purpose and should have partially adapted to that purpose even so she still can be in the way of not wanting to accept it, you know, because just because you are the chosen one, you are the person that is supposed to save the world, it doesn't mean that you have grown into that role just yet, you know. Plus Aloy is quite young, so extra emotional. That is to be considered as well. So Silence, who is way older, has seen way more shit, has way more context for things, could be considered way more machine-like. Or we go with the bratty teenager answer, that he just doesn't get it. Cry like that one holographic child at the hologram. That, you know, there's just simply no connection between these two beings, which there is not. Besides what did Silence say? Now that she distrusts him, they are finally on the same level and can go for the same target and come to a mutual understanding of each other. Like, instead of being emotionally connected, they are business partners. So that's why this is the teenage emotional bratty answer. Not in the way you mean. Not in the way you mean is completely disconnected. Like, how else? Like, I thought that we would go a more emotional route, that she would defend against logical reason, that it wasn't just a machine, that she felt for the world, just like that audio dialogue we just had explained, that in a way she was either a fanatic that wanted life to continue no matter what, so she relentlessly and without leeway to herself, just went and worked for that goal. So did she either focus, did this for a logical reason that life has to exist, or did she love life that much that she could get motivated through her love? So so I don't see even a possible, the sentence of "not in the way you mean" doesn't even start to connect or resonate with me. There's no wave. But I wanted to listen to this again.
You think she was better because she was smart, because she designed Zero Dawn, but you missed the point. What made her...
You think this is what I mean. The point of her going outside and closing the hedges so her entire work plan doesn't go to waste, it complete and I'm saying this ignoring the completely emotional length of the situation. Like, what point is there even to miss when leaving out feelings and stuff? It all makes sense. It all can be interpreted in a love relationship even. And it doesn't even need that much reach to do it. And Silence has even recognized that with his words.
Great was that she was willing to sacrifice herself for others, for everyone who would come later.
And every I cannot pronounce that word. M-A-Y. No, wait. M-A-T-Y-R. Matyr. That ever existed, or great leader that died for its cause, was always described this way of, through the love for his cause, he gave everything he could. And I don't see how Silence misrepresented that, so why does she even take offense in this way?
No. She couldn't let her creation fail. You're confusing will for sentimentality.
Not even that. In this case, both goes hand in hand, and maybe that is what Aloy tries to force here. But saying that basically let's give her the biggest leeway that she is force pushing the emotional wavelength, and Silence is the logical wavelength, and both at some point need to acknowledge that in this case both are the same. And to be honest, that line that he just said, that denying the emotional wavelength completely, actually gives Aloy suddenly more rightfulness in this, and that, which is fine. Which is fine to a certain degree. It's something Silence definitely could say here, and not completely out of his character.
You're wrong. Remember, she knew it wasn't enough for Gaia to think. She taught Gaia to feel, to care, to sacrifice, to believe in life, enough to fight against hopelessness. If it wasn't for that sentimentality, life would have ended. You and I would never have existed.
Your argument is sound. I'm sorry for your loss.
She said she wanted to go home. Maybe.
What?
Nothing. It's time to go on.
I guess the conversation is way more evenly leveled than I have remembered it. Yeah. I guess me, in quotation mark, wasting way more time in between the war event and this checkpoint here acted way more as a catalyst than I thought for misunderstanding this situation. But in the end, I still think Aloy is way too emotional in this. Basically what I said, that both are at extreme ends and need to come together, which Silence then also kinda does. So in a way this works, and it's way better than I remember it being. Yeah.